I've been putting this video off for I don't even know how long because I don't know. The idea of it came to me like I want to say a week ago, and then I put it off, and I've been putting it off. And then day before yesterday, it was like heavy on my mind, and then but I still didn't record it. I was like doing other stuff. Like I found every excuse, not even excuse, but it was just I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood to like film it, and then earlier today I was gonna film it. I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say, but I don't script any of these anyway. I just kind of think of a topic and then start rambling. But I do think that it's important, like, especially since like the first couple of videos where I was talking about like religion and God and stuff, to like kind of discuss it and get it out there because I don't know, maybe this is the video that it kind of merges everything together when I talk about like non-duality, and not even so much non-duality as a thing, but just the idea, the concept of radical non-duality and like what that means. There being no one, there being nothing, and yet all of this is appearing to happen. And then me, like being, I don't even want to say that I'm a Christian, but like being raised in a heavily, predominantly Christian household, and then kind of venturing out into the world on my own. And it really comes down to none of those things are separate. And I talked about that before, I think, where everything's happening at once and it's all one thing. There's not separateness in anything. The only thing that makes it appear separate is the fact that these are individual perceptions of the whole. So with that comes the topic of God. And so when you raised, especially specifically religions, Christianity, stuff like that, where some Christians think that Jesus is God, which is so off, and some name God, like almost objectify him or subjectify him, depending on, I guess, how you perceive that. And there's not right or wrong. I don't really, it's none of my business. I don't care how you perceive it. I'm only speaking from this perspective, and this perception. But God is not a thing. God is not there is no person in the sky. Jesus is definitely not God. He himself even said that. I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. And then you have like the Kanye West of the world who say that they are God, and that is also true. Because God is everything and in every one. And when you look at it like that, whether you are coming from this radical non-duality and you are like to whatever, or Christianity itself, it's kind of impossible to see God as an object. And I think that's where, it's for me specifically, that's where Christianity really got like flawed and, dare I say, fucked up, because God's not an object. Literally cannot be seen. Literally cannot be, like, he talks about idols and stuff, and then y'all create these false idols like the cross and Jesus, and I get it. Don't hang the messenger. That is not to be rude, but I have a dark sense of humor. I'm sorry, but literally, he's a messenger. It's no different than like your Abraham Hicks, your Bashars, your Louis Francis, like all of the. There's no difference. There's no difference. The Neville Goddards, the Sammy Ingrams, the manifestings with Kim, and people who, like, even when you speak about like manifestation and stuff like that, all that is from God. The universe, the nothing, whatever makes you more comfortable, because I think that's a lot of the reason, especially with like the new age spiritual seekers and stuff, like that's why they don't like to label it God, they call it the universe, because for someone who comes from that sort of background, Christianity has heavily objectified God, and then you think, well, I know this is not an object now, so what do? Nothing. We're all talking about the same thing. Like, God's not a person. He never was, and he never will be, and he is. It's so paradoxical that it's funny, almost. It's like, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain what I'm saying, and it's just more rambling, so maybe I'm just gonna not go on about this. Maybe it's a good starting place. Maybe I'll add to this later. I don't know, but Someone just said finally to get this out. Like, stop putting this off. Get this out of your brain. So here we are. But yeah. So do I believe that God is a real thing? How could I not? I'm sitting here. I'm talking into this microphone and I'm listening to my annoying neighbors. Like, it's clear to me. It's all evident. It's crazy. But do I think that it's some magical man that makes decisions? And also, with that being said, there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong either. There is just only what is and what's happening. And all of that, too, is God. And if society, like, that could break society if everybody really acknowledged that and, like, lived it on a deeper level. Because then that means that murder isn't wrong. And yes, no, let me not say that, because the way our morality is set up, the way that we are from a moral standpoint, those things will always be wrong to us. Like, I think it's personally disgusting, and I think there should only be kindness, and people should be nice to each other and sweet to each other. I literally cut off an entire group of friends just because the way that they talk to each other and the way that they discuss other people, I think is disgusting. And to be like so, what is quote unquote negative is just trifling to me. But in that same token, they're not wrong either. Like, there's really nothing to forgive or let go of or change until you say there is. And for some people, that will never happen. And for other people, it's happening constantly. And for some, it's happening every once in a blue moon. There is nothing that is set in stone that says this is the way that it has to be, because all of this is what it is. All of it is the way that it has to be. How could it be any other way? It's so insane. But yeah, so like, I think maybe because I am like getting back in touch with Christianity from this newfound perspective is maybe why it's been like so heavy on my mind. And like, I say that, but then I also know that I'm not doing that, and that there is no mind. There's nothing going on here. It's just what's happening. It's so surreal. Like, the paradox will never cease to amaze me, and it's because it, like, we exist, but we don't exist. Like, we're not outside of anything. There's not, like, this is happening, but it's not really. It's so crazy. Alright, I'm speaking backwards and it's getting, anyways. But I need to get that out, and now it's out. And I feel better. So, have an amazing day, and, don't just do what makes you feel good. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just whatever makes you happy, go do that. Live your best life.